Mortal Kombat 11 has been out for around 3 days now, at least in my country, and I've got a lot of hours played. So I think it's time to take a break from Mortal Kombat to talk about Mortal Kombat. There was a lot of hype surrounding this game, both from competitive high-level players and casual players who were just kind of interested in playing the story. And now that I've had time with each and every single aspect of the game, I wanted to go through each individual feature and rate them. This video not only works as a type of review, but also serves as feedback towards NetherRealm. And just in case there is someone from NetherRealm here, make sure you leave your feedback in the comment section as well. Starting with story mode, and I'm not going to spoil anything, don't worry, because we do not do that here. Mortal Kombat 11 story, in my opinion, is the best NetherRealm story so far. Don't get me wrong, it's not perfect, and I have a couple issues here and there, but even with the huge DC bias that I have, I think that this is better than Injustice 1 and Injustice 2's story. I can't say much else about it because spoilers, but trust me, it's fantastic. There's plenty of awesome moments and quality storytelling. I'm gonna go ahead and call this one a 4.5 out of 5. Towers of Time. Now, we're not going to talk about Towers of Time for too long because they have said that they are going to be significantly adjusting it. Right now, it is incredibly difficult. Most players will not be able to do Towers of Time properly. I'm assuming that the game did not intend to launch like this, and they said that it's going to be fixed very shortly. In fact, by the time this video is out, it's probably already been fixed, but because of the current issue, I'm not going to be rating it because it's going to be a drastically different game mode once it's been updated. I believe Ed Boon said something about it, and Tyler Lansdowne definitely said something about it, or one of them definitely said something about it. That is being changed. Classic towers are what they've always been, and the issue we just talked about with Towers of Time does not affect classic towers. Classic towers function exactly how they're supposed to, considering that this mode is supposed to represent basically the old school classic arcade / tower modes. You've got your standard one, your slightly longer one, your endless, your survival. It's all exactly what you want from your classic game mode. There's pretty much no room for error here, and they didn't do anything wrong. So I'm just going to go ahead and call it a 5 out of 5. There's not much else you want out of a classic tower mode. The Crypt is going to be one of the most controversial ones on this list because I know a lot of people out there are not only really happy with the Crypt, but they're having a ton of fun with it. And some people are really upset that it's particularly grindy. And I'm not going to address that aspect of it because, again, this is something they said that they're fixing. And apparently the fix is coming pretty soon. So, again, I don't want to critique it for that because apparently there are set in stone changes that are coming. I could see myself really enjoying this game mode. I could actually see this being one of my favorite game modes in the entire game, but I have a very personal issue with this game mode. And you should know that before I say this, I am very prone to being motion sick. Any game with 60 FOV like Call of Duty, I usually get quite wheezy playing it, almost lightheaded, but I don't normally have issues with third-person games. I don't know what it is, but when I play this mode, I get very motion sick. This video almost didn't happen today because I felt so uneasy, on the verge of vomiting. I had to go lay down before I could go record this video. I thought I was going to fall asleep. I felt so sick, and it was just because I played this game mode. And I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's the jarring camera angles as you move into room from room. I don't know if it's how slow the camera moves. I don't know if it's the motion blur. I don't know if it's because of how zoomed in the camera is. I should also mention I play on a monitor, so I'm quite close to my TV screen. Well, it's not my TV screen, it's a monitor, but you get my point. So I understand that I'm in a very hyper-specific situation, and based on what I can tell from the internet, no one else is experiencing this problem, or maybe a handful of people are, but I haven't seen outrage about it, so it must be a very personal thing to me. So if I was to take into account the fact that I get quite motion sick while playing this, I would have to give it a 0 out of 5, because it's literally, it's unplayable for me. I literally cannot play it. What I've been doing is before I go to bed, I do all the stuff I need to do in the Crypt. That way any sickness that I get from playing the Crypt doesn't affect me too much because I'm about to go to sleep anyway. But while I am playing it, before that sickness really starts to kick in, I do have fun with the mode, and it's an interesting way of unlocking stuff. If I try to ignore the fact that this mode is unplayable for me, I would probably put it at like a 4, or maybe a 3.5. It's certainly super interesting, the changes that have come to the Crypt. Seeing as though we just talked about the Crypt, let's talk about the customization. It's amazing. Like, it's really good. Not only do you have a ton of colors and costumes for each character, on top of that, you have a modified cosmetic gear system from Injustice 2, but this time in this game, there's no stats or anything like that. So you can use this to change certain aspects of your character's attire. It's seriously awesome. But there are some characters who don't really have much variety in the way of looks. For example, I was playing Cetrion earlier, and I noticed that pretty much all of her colors and all of her costumes look pretty identical. You're either a rock lady, or you're a white rock lady, or you're a lava rock lady. It kind of has the same issue that Swamp Thing had in Injustice 2, where he always just looks like a different type of tree. But it's hard to judge the customization system for this because it probably comes down to the design of the character more than the customization system itself. Each character also has around 4 intros and 4 victory screens. I love this so much because this menu is set up in a way that it leaves open the possibility of characters receiving additional intros and outros in the future. The same can be said for fatalities and brutalities. Something I really like is that you can equip whatever combination of intros you want. If there's 2 Gearus intros you like, you can equip both of them, and then the game will randomly choose between the 2. Or if you only like 1 Gearus intro, you can put that on. Or if you like 3 of Gearus's intros, you can put all 3 of them on and the game will randomly decide. Basically, you'll never get an intro you don't like because you can just change it to whatever you want. Granted, you have to unlock those things, but once you've got them, that's pretty cool. I would definitely give the customization in this game a 5 out of 5. Don't get me wrong, there's certainly room for improvement, as there will always be with a feature like this, but this is easily the best customization system in any fighting game that I have ever played. And I've played all the other ones with crazy amounts of customization. I've played your Tekkens, I've played your Injustice 2s, I've played your Soul Caliburs, I've done it all. Mortal Kombat 11 has the best customization system, in my opinion. The customization system is not the only standout feature of Mortal Kombat 11. The tutorial and training mode is out of this world. It teaches you about frame data, positioning, and strategy. They also offer character-specific tutorials. This is seriously amazing, outstanding work. It's really difficult to explain just how many things are covered in this tutorial without you just going and playing it yourself. Seriously, any player, I truly believe this, literally any player, unless you're in the top 0.1% of players, basically unless you're Sonic Fox, or unless you actually play the game professionally, I think you can go into this tutorial mode and you'll learn something. I would give the tutorial system another 5 out of 5. Now, I did want to separate the fatality tutorial system and the regular tutorial / training system, because I do think the fatality training mode does fall quite short. I didn't want to fault the standard training mode for it, but yeah, fatality training kind of sucks. If your character has a difficult to do fatality, you may want to practice it a little bit, and you would think that this is the perfect mode for that, and it kind of is, but it's still not good. Only 1 fatality will display on the screen at a time, even if you have both unlocked. The game has to reload the stage every time you perform a fatality, it doesn't just reset, which sucks if you're trying to get used to doing a specific motion. For example, close fatalities like Frost's lend themselves to ending the opponent before the fatality animation, and if you fail it, the stage has to reload. It's ridiculous. If this is what the fatality training mode is going to be, honestly, it should just be a standard option in the regular training mode. It's probably too late for this game. They're never going to go back and change it, I think. But for future Mortal Kombat games, please work on this game mode. I would like to be able to change characters right from the pause menus instead of having to go through a bunch of loading screens to get back into the fatality training. As soon as the animation of the fatality is done, it should switch back to neutral. I shouldn't have to reload the stage. This is stuff I know NetherRealm has the ability to implement, but it doesn't surprise me that the fatality training mode is one of the things that was kind of left in the dust. But honestly, as it stands right now, I'm going to give it a 2.5. The game's replay system is certainly passable and certainly better than what most fighting games have to offer. I would really like the option to pause, go frame by frame, and being able to adjust the camera would be really nice for screenshots, for creators and stuff like that. Not much has changed from before. 3 out of 5, solid and functional, but there is certainly a lot of room for improvement. Another thing I would like to be updated is the stat page. While it is incredibly detailed, much more detailed than most fighting games, I have 2 minor complaints. Well, one of them's kind of major and one of them's very minor. One is that the versus AI mode, where you can pit your AI against another player's AI, contributes to your PvP stats. I don't know why that is. I've never played Jax online, or I've never played Jax PvP, but here I am with a 25% win rate on Jax because I played him in the AI game mode. Yeah, that just shouldn't be happening. I don't know why that's happening. I think that's really silly. I would also like an additional stat displayed right here, right next to our win ratio, I think we should see set win ratio, because there's a big difference between winning a best out of 3 and winning matches. They already track that stat. They track how many sets you play and how many sets you win. So they just have to add an equation here and then have it display your actual ratio. Overall though, a really, really good stat page. I'm gonna give it a 4.5 out of 5. Let's discuss online. The casual modes are exactly what you would expect. The exciting thing for me is ranked sets, which are first to 3 matches, so best of 5. A respectable format indeed. I will say I would think it would be much better if you could choose your character before you queue, just to prevent people counterpicking on match 1. I'm already finding myself in situations where I might be playing a zoner and then I see that my opponent's playing a character with a teleport. I'm just like, I mean, I'm just gonna switch to Frost. Like, I don't want to put up with this teleport. It makes my game plan so much worse, especially if you go up against the Scorpion variant who can cancel his teleport. Don't get me wrong, I do think you should be able to counterpick, just not on the first match. But what has me really excited about this menu is the Kombat League, which is a game mode that's not available yet, but what I'm hoping it is a traditional ranked mode with divisions and a ladder. If that is what Kombat League is, which seems pretty likely at this point, I'm going to give the online a 4.5 out of 5 with incredible netcode, of course, because it's NetherRealm and they just do that. And the last thing I'll address in this video is the gameplay. Most of the things I talked about in this video, I try to be as objective as possible. I try to take out my opinion from it and just kind of judge everything from an objective basis. But gameplay is not something I can judge from an objective basis because I'm not a high-level player, at least not in NetherRealm games. I'm not going to rate the gameplay, like officially in this video, but for my own personal feeling, I'm going to put it at a 4.5 out of 5. This is the most fun I've ever had with a NetherRealm game. I do still find zoning annoying, but again, it's the way it is. And there are certainly counterpicks to zoning, but just keep in mind that 4.5, that's taking into account my biases, not judging it from a competitive standpoint and anything. I'm just saying that I really like the gameplay. All right, with that out of the way, that's going to be the video. I hope you were able to enjoy this kind of review slash discussion video about Mortal Kombat 11. So if you like this type of format, let me know in the comment section below. My name has been Bilbzy, and I'll see you in the next video.